Hey yo, what is up? What is up, guys? Your boy is back with yet another video, and today we are talking about Royal Rumble 2002. I know, I was supposed to review this one a couple years ago. I never got around to it, but hey, never too late to make a comeback. You know what I'm saying, guys? Anyways, this show, it's kind of weird. Like, I don't really watch a lot of wrestling from like this time period because it wasn't like, I don't know, I kind of just pick and choose when I'm watching, essentially. So I haven't really seen a lot of like this whole time. So Triple H had just come back from that huge quad tear he suffered in that amazing tag team match on Raw in 2001. And yeah, so he just came back after, I think they said it was 9 months he came back, and 6 months, I don't know. How long was he actually gone for? They said 9. Was it actually like 6 or something like that? Anyways, doesn't matter. So that's kind of what this whole show was sort of built over, was the main event of the Royal Rumble. And yeah, we'll talk about that towards the end. But yeah, Triple H just coming back was like, I think he was on the poster for this show too, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, let's talk about the show. The show opens with Dudley Boys versus Taz and Spike Dudley. I didn't know Taz and Spike Dudley were tag team champions at this point in time, but yo, they got Stacy Keibler coming out with them, the Dudley Boys, and yeah, that was easy on the eyes, I'll tell you that much. Anyway, so the Dudley Boys, they pretty much just beat down Spike Dudley for kind of like a majority of this match. Taz manages to get tagged in. He slaps on, I think he gets Stacy Keibler in the Taz mission at one point here. And yeah, and then eventually he hits some like really nice suplexes, I will say that. Like they call him the suplex machine, Taz. I think that's what they call him. They had some like suplex name for him. Anyways, so he gets it on Devon Dudley. Devon Dudley taps out. Yeah. Really short match. Nothing really much else to say about it. So, yeah, moving on. Next up, we have William Regal versus Edge for the Intercontinental Championship. Now, this had, from the promo package, this seemed to have a pretty good build to it of Edge breaking William Regal's nose and William Regal having the brass knucks and stuff. Always cheating to win. Typical Englishman. Typical. Anyways, so the match starts off. Edge kind of has his little flurry on William Regal. William Regal takes over and controls the match with some really nice suplexes. He too had some like really sick suplexes in this match. Like, I love suplexes, and yeah, I was treated very well tonight, or on the show. So there's the one point where the Regal gets the Regal stretch on Edge. Edge counters, gets out of it. He puts the Regal stretch on William Regal. Regal gets to the ropes. Edge hits a flying heel kick to William Regal off the top rope, which looked really cool. William Regal, I think what happens here is Edge ends up hitting the referee with the spear, and then William Regal hits Edge with the brass knucks, and then he manages to pick up the dub and becoming your new Intercontinental Championship. So yeah, this here was a pretty decent match. Nothing too crazy. Could have just happened on TV, but you know what? The Rumble needs some matches. All right, so next up was Trish Stratus, my girl, my homegirl, Trish Stratus versus Jazz. And this was actually a pretty little entertaining scrap here. They were like going for roll-ups right away, like a lot of like pins and covers and stuff. Jacqueline, she was the special guest referee. Man, these two, Jacqueline and Jazz, they were two jacked up ladies. You talk about like Bianca Belair today. Man, Jazz, she was shredded back then. So yeah, just throwing that out there. I really like because Trish, she got her hand slammed into like one of those crate things they have that they push around back in production. So then Jacqueline's really working over the hand, and then she at one point gets Trish in the ropes, and she's like pulling on her arm and stuff, and then Trish manages to kind of get out, but then like there was like the whole count, and Jazz gets pulled off. Then Jazz is going at it with Jacqueline. Trish manages to kind of get the upper hand after Jacqueline doesn't count the pin on Trish for like almost like 30 seconds. Trish hits like Stratisfaction like right after this, and then she hits like another bulldog and she picks up the W. So Trish Stratus picking up the dub. This is actually like, it wasn't like amazing. I'm not going to tell you this is amazing, but you could tell like the women, when they had their matches, they worked very hard. They worked very hard for their matches. And Trish is my girl. Trish, 2002 Trish and me, your boy Con Man. we were meant to be, but the timelines just didn't add up, and that's a shame. So we have to move on and talk about everybody's favorite chairman of the WWE, Vince McMahon versus Ric Flair. And I think this was like a co-owners match or something. They were both co-owners at this time. Yeah, so Vince McMahon, he comes out to this match and he's completely just jacked. Yeah, we all know Vince is jacked, but just here he just looked extra jacked. I mean, he always looks extra jacked, but it's like, yeah, checks out. Anyways, so match kind of starts off. Vince throws Ric Flair around the ring because he's jacked as all hell, and Ric's just like a little. What is it? What? He's a little showman. You know what I'm saying? Ric Flair's a showman. He does his little technical stuff. He does his little brawling stuff. Ric Flair, he's there for the show, baby. They brawl around. They take it to the outside. Vince is just whooping on Ric Flair at this point. Ric Flair's a bloody mess. I think he hits him with like a sign or something from the crowd. And then he has, I don't think it was Charlotte, but like his two kids are there in the front row. And Vince is taking selfies at the time with this big ass camera. So that was pretty funny. Vince kind of throws him back in the ring. He goes to put like the figure four on Ric Flair. That was pretty funny. And then Ric Flair manages to get out of it. What the heck happens? They end up like Ric Flair gets out of it. He gets the upper hand. He throws Vince McMahon outside the ring and he beats the shit out of him with some monitors. Vince is just bloody as all hell. Takes him over to the kids. They get a picture together. Slides him back in the ring. Figure four. Vince McMahon tapping like, Vince McMahon. And Ric Flair pulls off the major W. So that's like, what is it? They did like 4 of these matches in like under an hour. Like the show was only like 3 hours long. Like those like first 3 matches, they went by in like under 30 minutes. It was kind of crazy how quick all that went by. So yeah. I actually kind of really liked the match. It was very, very entertaining. It was very, very WWE. I thought the match was mildly entertaining. And yeah, but nothing was like too super, super special. So if you paid money for this show, you're kind of like, there was a lot of on the show. Like not like bad but like nothing like setting the world on fire. Nothing you're seeing any differently than on Fridays and Mondays. Or was it Thursdays at the time? Anyways. So yeah, nothing really different you'd be seeing on TV. But yeah, I mean the Vince McMahon and Ric Flair match was pretty entertaining. Next up, we have Chris Jericho in the middle of his first title defense versus The Rock here at the Royal Rumble. And now Chris Jericho, he wasn't really seen as like much of a threat, I don't think, by many of the fans. He was just kind of like, you're the little guy who won the championship. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not the big star like me, Steve Austin, Triple H. We're the big stars. You're just a little star. You know what I'm saying? But The Rock, he had cut that really cool promo. I'm taking you very seriously, Chris Jericho. I thought that was pretty cool. Anyways, match starts off. They get like right up in each other's face right off the bat. And like Chris Jericho's like, bring it. And yeah, he slaps The Rock right away. And yeah, The Rock kind of, again, it's like kind of like some of all the other matches. Rock kind of has his flurry early on. He kind of picks away at Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho manages to come back. He at one point has him just in a freaking side headlock takeover. I know people hate that move. I love that move. It's one of my favorite moves, actually. Yeah, so at one point here, like Rock, he hits like the suplex on Chris Jericho, a super suplex off the top rope after Jericho was kind of just dominating a lot of like the portion of this match. And then Rock manages to get Chris Jericho into the sharpshooter, at which point Lance Storm and Christian, they come out to back Chris Jericho up and get Rock out off of Jericho, even though Jericho's tapping in the ring. And then Jericho hits 2 lion salts on The Rock, and then they brawl to the outside. Rock manages to roll to the outside. He hits a rock bottom on Chris Jericho through the announce table, throws him back in the ring, and yeah, and then he doesn't get the pinfall. Chris Jericho manages to kick out of that, and then I can't remember how it happened. And then Chris Jericho, he manages to get the walls on The Rock, which looked really awesome when Chris Jericho finally got the walls on him. That looked really, really sick. And yeah, so eventually, I want to say, I can't remember how it happened. There was the ref gets taken out, and then we get this weird Tim White referee who's like this total dumbass who comes to the ring and he counts for Chris Jericho, but he doesn't count for The Rock. And then yeah, he kind of gets, The Rock just kicks his ass and takes him out. But this is the point where Chris Jericho takes advantage, slams Rock's head into the exposed turnbuckle, hits him with the belt. And yeah, this match, it was a good match. But yeah, I know a lot of people, like Chris Jericho himself doesn't like his own title reign. And yeah, it was kind of mid, but I mean, this was a good match. He had a good match here with The Rock. Yeah, not else to really to ride home about, but yeah, just a good match here with The Rock, and that's all I really have to say about it. It was good. Nothing else. But again, the undercard for this show was kind of, again, like, this wasn't anything, like, if you paid, like, whatever it was at the time you paid for, was it $50? Was it $60? I don't know. I know people did pay-per-view parties. I hope they put their $10 in. So yeah, I mean, like, you're having fun and stuff. Like, this isn't like anything awful, but like, again, nothing great. Nothing like knock my balls off. You know what I'm saying? All right. Let's talk about the Royal Rumble itself. So the Royal Rumble, I liked how they had Shawn Michaels talking about how he's picking his Texan boys. I thought that was cool. And yeah, so Royal Rumble starts off, it was really built around three guys. It was built around The Undertaker. It was built around Triple H, obviously, who I talked about earlier, who just came back from his quad tear. And it was built around Steve Austin. So, yeah, it was kind of built around those three guys. And so the you know, like how today we have like starting twos, like where it's like you kind of have two people who come out who the crowd like really get into. Here it's kind of interesting. Like I mean, like they had Rikishi and Goldust start off the show. I'm a fan of both guys. Yeah, and they kind of just, again, like the Rumble starts off very much just a normal kind of battle royal. Everyone's kind of just punching and kicking each other, trying to throw each other over the top ropes. You're having people come out, like Big Moss Man came out, Bradshaw came out. Yeah, just a lot of people who are like, oh, the people who die off, who you like kind of like meet in basic training, and then they just get their heads blown off once you get to the actual battle scenes and stuff. Yeah, those guys. They're all coming out. So the match doesn't really pick up till The Undertaker comes out, clears house, just dominates everyone, hitting choke slams, clotheslining fools, big boots to everyone, clears out the ring, and he's just at this point where he's just dominating everyone who comes out. And then finally, what is it? Matt Hardy comes out and Lita comes out, and then they start kind of giving The Undertaker some pushback. Next up, Jeff Hardy comes out, and yeah, then it's on. They're hitting their moves on Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy goes for that, like, I knew the minute I saw Jeff Hardy going for this move, I was like, he's about to get eliminated. He goes for that move where he does that, like, hip, where he jumps off Matt and hits his hip against whoever his opponent is in the corner. It's a really cool looking move. But Undertaker catches him, dumps him out of the ring. Then he just hits that last ride on Matt Hardy, and Lita's like screaming, no. Like, imagine you just getting your ass kicked as bad as Matt Hardy did in front of his girlfriend. Like, how embarrassing that all would be. All right, so then finally, like, this is kind of what this match is like very known for, other than the winner, is Maven comes out. Now, Maven won Tough Enough at that time, which was a big deal, I guess. And then Maven comes out, and Matt and Jeff Hardy, they kind of distract The Undertaker. Maven drop kicks The Undertaker. Undertaker flips out of the ring. And yes, Maven eliminates the dead man. And the Undertaker's just pissed. He freaking goes back in the ring, beats the shit out of Maven, hits him with a steel chair on the outside. This was a wicked chair shot. Just blasted him in the face. Maven's bleeding all over the place. Undertaker, Scotty 2 Hardy comes out and he punches Scotty 2 Hardy in the face. Then he kicks Maven's ass all the way up all the way up and throws him into like popcorn and stuff. And the Undertaker's like standing there eating popcorn, looking down at Maven. That's the last time we saw The Undertaker. And then, so yeah, Christian's in the ring, and I want to say, was it Chuck Palumbo in the ring, or was it Test? No, it was Christian and Scotty 2 Hotty were in the ring, and yeah, and then Chuck came out, and it kind of starts filling up again, until finally, Stone Cold Steve Austin comes out, same thing, clears house, sends everybody out of the ring, and this is pretty funny. He sends everybody out of the ring, and he's like, I got time left. He goes back out and just starts kicking everybody else's ass, throws them all back in the ring, throws them back out again. It was pretty funny. And then he's sitting up on the ring rope. What? Till finally Triple H makes his like final boss Rock appearance. He's just standing up at the top of it's all like silhouetted and shit. And Triple H is just standing there all jacked and sees like hair and stuff. That was pretty cool. Gets in the ring. Austin and Triple H, they throw down for a little bit. And then it was funny when the Hurricane came out, and then he goes for like a freaking double choke slam on both guys, and they were just both looking at him. And Austin's like, what the heck is this? And they just toss him out. So yeah, a lot of people who came out in this match afterwards just kind of only had like little brief appearances. Like Booker T was number 30, and he just gets tossed aside like in like 3 seconds. Kane comes out, gets tossed aside after eliminating the Big Show. Big Show comes out. He essentially just gets tossed out too by Kane. It was just like RVD came out, did next to nothing in the match. And yeah, it was just pretty much about, like, funny enough, Mr. Perfect made it all the way to the final 3 of this match, which is really, really funny. That, yeah, I mean, I love Mr. Perfect, but it's just funny that's like Mr. Perfect made it all the way, came all the way down to the wire, baby. And yeah, final 2, like Steve Austin gets thrown out kind of by Mr. Perfect and Kurt Angle there. And then, which Austin comes back in the ring, hits everybody with steel chairs, and then it comes kind of down to, I think, yeah, Kurt Angle eliminates Kurt Hennig, and then it comes down to just Triple H and Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle throws Triple H out of the ring. He's celebrating, thinking it's all over. Triple H gets back in the ring, hits that drop knee on Kurt Angle, clotheslines him outside. Bingo, bango, bongo. Triple H is your 2002 Royal Rumble winner. That is very, very prevalent in 2025. Ladies and gentlemen, 23 years later, Triple H won the 2002 Royal Rumble, and he's been living off it ever since. Okay, in all seriousness, I actually really enjoyed this Rumble. I thought it was a very, very good Rumble. Definitely more in one of my like more favorite Rumbles, like Royal Rumble 2014. I said like, this one here, it's probably like higher up in the pack. I'm not sure where it lands. Is it not my favorite? No, but it has some very, very entertaining things in it. Like I really like The Undertaker just dominating, and Steve Austin coming out at the end, or Steve Austin coming out and just, again, dominating. It was a lot of fun. It was built around 3 guys, and yeah, those 3 guys, they all delivered. So we'll talk more about where these guys all went in the future. Anyways, guys, this was my video about Royal Rumble 2002. As always, ratings in the description below, and peace out, guys.